But we do declare that it would be an act of wickedness for such people or others to try to prevent us from acting in accordance with this guidance which has come out of Surah Al-Kahf and building villages in remote places. The time has now come for us to declare that in establishing a Muslim village we are not attempting to break the law. No. When we build a Muslim village we do not threaten anyone. No. Rather, the country itself will benefit, since the village will cure diseases of the society, like the breakdown of families, like alcoholism and drug addiction, like homosexuality and lesbianism. The village will cure diseases of the society, like rampant crime and murder and kidnapping. The village will cure diseases of the society which otherwise cannot be cured. If we are attacked to try to prevent us, as someone warned me yesterday, yes, then such an act against us will confirm that we have the truth. Because you can have an ijtima with 5,000 people and you pose no threat to anyone. They do not respond to you. But all we want to do is to build a little village and they're coming after us. That is the proof that the truth is here. And secondly, if you kill one of us, we pray to Allah to send 1,000 to take his place. So now let us proceed to describe what is a Muslim village. It has to be something small to be a village. I was born in a village, Balmain village. I grew up in a village, St. Thomas village, Shagona. So I'm a villager, I know about a village. A village is small. Maybe 200 families, 300 maximum. That's a village. We have villages all over Trinidad. We are custom villages. So what's new? Secondly, a village is something outside of the city. In our case, the further outside the city, better. We have villages, remote villages in Trinidad. But this is a Muslim village. And so the majority of residents in the village would be Muslims. But make it plain and clear to everyone whom you speak to that non-Muslims are welcome in this village. Yes. On the condition that they're not hostile to Islam, because it's a Muslim village. And on the condition that they can conform with the norms of public conduct in the village. So you're not going to be with a bottle of beer in your hand walking down the street in this village. And you're not going to be half naked walking down the streets of this village. Not here. This is a village in which there would be a majority of Muslim residents, but non-Muslims would be welcome to live with us in the village in the way that they lived with us in the past. Muslims live with non-Muslims very, very friendly, cooperating. So it's nothing new, we're just trying to bring back what we had in the past. We live as good neighbors. In order, however, to preserve the Muslim character of the village, there must be a limit to the number of non-Muslims who will be allowed to live in the village. Let us have a brief description, because today's lecture is not going to spell out everything. A of the physical layout of a Muslim village. And this is what we used to have 100 years ago. All Muslim residents in the village would live in homes located within walking distance of the village masjid. And there's only one masjid in the village, only one. We will not allow a second one. And so all residents of the village would walk to the masjid. You can't drive to the masjid because I have no parking lot around the masjid. Not at all. You gotta walk to the masjid and walk back home. And so all homes would be located around the masjid. Walking to and from the masjid is sunnah. It ought to be revived. The physical exercise of walking is something which is not only good for the health. I do a little bit of walking now in the morning myself. But according to the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, walking to the masjid and walking back brings barakah, blessing. I don't know whether you get blessing you drive a Toyota Camry to the masjid. Now, do you notice, I mean those of you who are my age, when we were children, did you see anybody sitting on a chair in the masjid? No. We never saw that. But suddenly now, 50 years later, every masjid have to have a large number of chairs for people who can't go down and sit down. Why? It is the lifestyle that has come with the modern life, the modern world. And in turning away from that lifestyle, we restore health to our people. So that eventually the children growing up in this masjid, in this village, very few, if any, will ever need to sit on a chair in the masjid. This must surely bring blessings. The interaction of Muslims as they walk to and from the masjid, the interaction of believers as they walk around the village, constantly walking, this interaction, this constant interaction of everyone will enhance village life. The flavor, mark my words, the flavor of life in the village will be enriched. The aroma of village life will increase. The splendor of village life will be something to be enjoyed, something far different from today where you even know who your neighbor is. You could spend a whole year living next door to your neighbor, you never talk to your neighbor yet. You don't know who your neighbor is. Do you know your name? In the village, there will be electricity. There will be excitement because of Allah's creation. Allah created us to live like this with constant interaction. The houses of the Muslim village would be such that villagers would be advised to adhere to simplicity and austerity, which is a sunnah in the construction of houses. No one should flaunt his wealth by building a mansion, building a palace. Villagers would be encouraged, would be assisted in the effort to build houses which would, as much as is possible, be in harmony with nature. And so you probably would not need air conditioning. A toilet. I seem to remember that when you enter a toilet, you have to enter with your left foot. Is it true? Come on, shake your head, man. Huh? When you enter a toilet, you have to enter with your left foot. Yes or no? Yes, say it. Yes. Why? Because it's an unclean place, isn't it? Isn't it? You don't want to talk, you're frightened, It's an unclean place. So angels will not enter the unclean place, would they? The shayateen will go there, the jinn will go there, but the angels will not go in the unclean place, Well, what happens if you take the toilet from outside the house and bring it inside the house? How come you're so quiet now? Nobody yesterday would build a house with the toilet inside the house. No. Because the house has to be pure, clean. You leave your shoes outside, don't you? You leave your shoes outside. So who would leave his shoe outside but put the toilet inside? You understand now? The mastermind who was at work, he took us for a ride, didn't he? Because I don't think the angels would enter a house in which one part of the house is unclean. But that's my opinion. And so in the village we try to build our houses in accordance with the Sunnah. And that is that the toilet is detached from the house. The masjid. The village will have only one masjid. It will be located in the center of the residential area. The Blessed Prophet ﷺ said, I leave behind me two things. So long as you hold on to them, you'll never go astray. The Book of Allah and my Sunnah. As a consequence, we will try as best as we can to ensure that the religious life in the masjid is firmly based on the Quran and the Sunnah. Listen to me carefully now. If there is a religious practice which is manifestly beneficial, but it is not based firmly on the Quran and Sunnah, then we would urge that it be restricted to private life and not be brought into the public life of the masjid in order to protect ourselves from fitna, people attacking us and seeking to divide us over peanuts. The village must have a market. Now this is the most difficult part of all, the market. The village will have its own market. We build the market and the stalls are all free. Anyone can come to the market and buy and sell. Anyone can put his goods on sale in the market. People from outside of the village would be encouraged to come to the market and to buy their goods from the market. All the produce which is sold in the market would be organic. Organic farming, organic dairy products and so on. So it is in the purest possible food. We come back to that in a short while, inshallah. Market prices will be carefully monitored in order to ensure that the market remains a free and a fair market. You'd be surprised to know some of the most advanced scholars in the field at the State University of New York in Binghamton have come to the conclusion that the last free and fair market that the world ever had was the market of the Ottoman Islamic Empire before they destroyed the Caliphate. But when we hold a lecture on riba, inshallah, this subject will be explained. Eventually, the village will restore Sunnah money to the market. But I don't want to confuse you today, so we're not going to take up that subject. But that subject will be explained, inshallah, next month.